over this period of time, I started getting more and more energy, and especially after I completed this parasite cleanse, which I've talked about, which you know about by now. After that 6-week cleanse, I really started to crave meat less, and I actually pretty much lost my appetite for it for most of the time. And it was really strange, because I used to love it. I couldn't get enough of it. So I stopped eating it as much. And I was still eating a lot of fat and protein. I would eat all your avocados, your nuts, guacamole, olives, and like your nut butters. I would eat a lot of that. But these, when I would get really hungry, that was the object of my desire. I really wanted that. And so I followed that urge. And I really didn't have that urge for meat. So I was eating meat, a couple times a week, and then a little bit less, and then a little bit less. And I was eating a lot of raw, and I was still eating cooked foods. I was still eating like a lot of chips, corn chips, But I got to the point where I realized I was just eating meat as kind of like a formality. If it was at some kind of social function, I would eat it if it was being served. And then I started having a couple realizations that when I was eating it, like it was sending me kind of a message. Like once I was out, I'll tell you this story. So 2 stories. That was kind of the end of the road for me. I mean, once was I was out with this girl that I was seeing at the time, and we were out walking the dog, and we were in downtown Austin, and we stopped at this food truck, and we ordered a steak burrito, and we sat down at the picnic tables there, and it was a really sweet time, and we shared the burrito. We both ate it, we swapped spit, on the burrito. And after I ate it, that's the first time that I can really distinctly remember feeling really bad after eating meat. And it was unfortunate because before that, that day, I was really on a buzz. And that's what I was really liking about, that's what really was drawing me to the raw foods more, is I would get this high. Like I would get this buzz all day long, this energy. And after we ate this burrito, it's like my buzz just totally evaporated. And then I also had this feeling like coming from my gut, just this kind of bad feeling. And my body was not happy with me for eating it. So I felt uncomfortable, and my nice buzz was kind of ruined for the evening. And everything was fine. It all worked out. But this was the first time I kind of had this heightened awareness of, oh, you know what? This is having a bad effect on me, eating this. So really, I was eating meat more and more rarely as this was happening. And then I was really just eating it in these social settings. And finally, I never considered myself, plant-based or anything. But then finally what happened was I went over to my parents' house. And I was at my parents' house, and my grandmother was in town. And so we were having dinner, and my mom, bless her heart, loved that woman so much. She was making a chicken pot pie for supper. And so we all sat around the table and we tucked in. And I just remember thinking, oh, I really don't want this. I really do not want this at all. And I felt like I was just eating it as a courtesy, a formality, and just against my own instinct. And, that evening when I went to bed, that food, it really did not agree with me. And I felt my stomach churning, And I was just lying there, and I really felt bad. And I was thinking to myself, I'm doing this for what? I'm just doing this to please other people. What about me? And so at that point, I made a decision because, again, it wasn't the food that made me kind of fall off there. It was the social aspect. And I just wanted to please people and not rock the boat. And so basically, I decided, okay, you know what? I'm just going to tell people that selectively that, I'm plant-based, so that I don't have to eat their cooking if I don't want to, because I really was looking at that chicken pot pie and I'm like, I just don't want it, but I didn't want to be rude. And so that way I decided I won't come off as rude. If I just say, hey, you know what? I actually don't eat meat. I don't eat dairy. So it looks great. It looks delicious, but I don't eat it. So, so I could say that rather than just saying, hey, I would prefer not to eat your dish, because I don't find it very appetizing. So this was kind of my plan. I actually thought that I would still eat meat rarely. And I think maybe I did a couple more times. But it was not long after that I really did lose my desire completely to eat it. So basically I did eventually go off of it, even though I had a couple times I went back, but basically it was off of it. I mean, not long after that.